I bought 10 very broken iPhone 10s. Let's see if I can fix them. Now, before we start fixing these, I do need to set some expectations. First of all, there's a good chance that most, if not all of these, are iCloud locked and not actually usable. Now, I am hoping that there's gonna be a few that are not, so we can actually fix some that are usable, but I did buy these in a salvage lot, which means there's no guarantees on anything. I am not an iPhone technician. I've repaired a few iPhones in the past, probably like 1 or 2 per year. So I'm a little bit familiar with some repairs, but I've never done anything like the iPhone 10. I've never done any of the newer phones. So the reason I did this is basically just to get better at repair. I'm a game console repair technician, but I want to learn how to fix other stuff as well, so that's why I bought this lot of 10 iPhone 10s. So this is my attempt at getting better at repair, and I'm taking you along for the ride. Let's get started. Now the first thing we need to do is just kind of take an inventory of our phones here and see what we think might be fixable, what might not be, and then we'll have to plug them in and see if any of them turn on. I know nothing about the condition of these phones other than what we see here. Obviously, most of them have a cracked front and back screen, but I don't know anything else about these. So I'm gonna plug them in one by one. I'll make some notes on them so we know what we need to fix, and then we'll see if any of them are fixable and any of them are actually usable when they are fixed. Now I paid $1,670 for all of these iPhones. So that comes out to $167 each. Great news on this first one. We actually see an Apple logo. Whoa, look at this. Okay, let's see. So far, great news on this one. Let's check and see if Find My iPhone is on. Looks like it's not set up. So great news on this first iPhone 10. I don't think it's locked. I'll have to check the carrier lock and see if there's any carrier lock, but the Find My iPhone is turned off, so great news so far. Hopefully we can get more like this one. This one's gonna be a problem. Frame's broken here, broken there. Back glass is shattered. Hopefully not too much damage up here. Definitely got some problems. Also, it doesn't turn on, doesn't get warm. So we're gonna have to check into this one a little bit more. No power on that though. So no power on iPhone number 3. Oh, hey, here we go. We got an Apple logo. What are the chances this touchscreen even works? Whoa, the touchscreen does work. Wow. So far, iPhone number 4 actually looks like maybe it'll work. Still have to check if it's blacklisted or anything, but so far it looks good. I mean, looks good as in it's not iCloud locked so far. We definitely do have a bent frame on this one, shattered front glass. The back glass so far actually looks pretty good, which is amazing, but it doesn't do us too much good since the frame is bent, but still could be a lot worse. Number 4 looks good so far. And here we go with iPhone number 5. This one is also just shattered. Apple activation lock, it looks like, so that's not good news. But let's see if it turns on. So iPhone number 5 definitely doesn't turn on, no signs of life. And number 6 has no power as well. Let's move on to number 7. Number 7, I don't know what that's from, but that definitely does not look, wow, we actually have a battery signal on it. I'm not even sure I should be plugging this one in with the looks of that, but I can't believe the screen actually turned on for a second. Number 7 we'll definitely have to take a look at before we do too much messing with it, because this definitely doesn't look good. But it did turn on for just a second. Oh, here we go, look at that. It actually just needs to charge up. I think I'm still gonna take it apart more just to see how it looks on the inside, because this definitely can't be good. I'm afraid maybe there's some motherboard damage or possibly even the battery. So I'm not gonna put any more power into it than I have right now, just because I really don't want it to start on fire. And here we go with iPhone number 8. We got an Apple logo, good news. Okay, and here we go. Oh, this is no good. An update is required to activate your iPhone. I'll have to look into this. Most likely this one has been locked, but we'll look into that one a little bit later. And just a reminder, I am not an expert on fixing iPhones. I know very little about fixing iPhones. I replaced a few screens, a few batteries here and there over the years, but nothing as new as the iPhone 10. So if you guys have any ideas of what might fix these, be sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think, and maybe I can revisit them at a future time. Let's move on to iPhone number 9. And number 9 does show power on the screen, but unfortunately the screen is in too bad of shape. We can't do anything, so we'll need to try this with a new screen to know whether it's iCloud locked or anything like that. It did buzz just now, so I am hopeful. And iPhone number 10. Great news so far. Okay. Oh. Unfortunately, the touch screen does not work on this one, so we won't know any more about this until we put a working screen on it. So there you have it. We have the very first diagnoses. Whatever, we know what was wrong with most of these, at least initially. So now it's time to order some parts, and everyone's favorite part, it's time to take them apart. I'm gonna start with number 1, the one that has Find My iPhone turned off. Hopefully we can actually make this into a working iPhone. So let's start with that one and see if we can get a quick win. This one definitely needs a new back glass, and it's got a mark on the screen and a mark up in the corner, so it does need a new front screen as well. And then I want to use this screen to test some of the other iPhones that have faulty screens. So with iPhone number 1, the first thing I'm going to do is try and get all of the shattered glass off the back. Now keep in mind, all the parts and tools I use in all of my videos are available in my Amazon store with the link down in the description below. This is an affiliate link, so I do get paid commission whenever someone buys something from Amazon using my link. So the back glass on these iPhones is incredibly difficult to remove. Let's try this first and see how it goes. So you can see I am getting it in little chunks, but it's just taking forever. It's just ridiculous. And even then, a lot of the adhesive isn't coming off with the glass. I have to scrape it off separately. Also, you can see the condition of this back case from all the scratching. I mean, it's not bent or anything, but it's just scratched up like crazy. So this is definitely not a good way to go. I'll probably just get a new entire rear housing. It takes a little while to replace all the guts into the new housing, but it's a way better option than doing it this way. Now I have to wait for the parts to get here for that, so we'll move on to the next iPhone. Let's check out iPhone number 2. It has no power. So let's see if we can figure this one out. It's another white one, but it also has a broken frame right there. So let's see if we can figure this one out. Okay, there we go. iPhone number 1, we have the screen off. Just need to remove this bracket and then we can get it all the way off. Now with the screen from iPhone number 1, we can hook it into number 2 and see if number 2 will power on. Bummer. So it looks like iPhone number 2 is still dead. I'm gonna take some more apart, see if maybe the motherboard is cracked just from this. It could have cracked the logic board on it. So let's take it down more and see if we can figure out why it won't power on at all. Now, first things first, let's see what kind of voltage this battery has on it. My meter's saying 3.096. So just over 3 volts, it needs to be 3.81. So the battery's definitely discharged, but it doesn't make any noise or anything when we plug it in to a charger. So I'm assuming it's more than just a battery issue. And here we have a battery tester. It is definitely discharged, but according to this, the battery voltage is 3.097, so we were reading it correctly. I'm just looking at this. I don't think the logic board on this is bent or broken. If you can see, the logic board goes up to about right here or so, and the main bend is right here. So, I mean, that could have bent this very end, but I don't think that would cause it to not power on. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe we have a problem down here in the dock area. Now I do know that I have some good docks on these, so I might swap the dock out with another one just to see if that gets it working. Now we know that number 8 powers on, but it is unable to activate. So since I can't activate this one anyways, the first thing I'm gonna do is take it all apart and use this one for parts. So I'm gonna swap the dock from number 8 into number 2, and we'll see if that gets number 2 working. Hey, we got it. Okay. Now this whole battery comes out. Hey, there we go. And now we have the battery out. Wow, look at that. The dock ribbon cable goes under the motherboard right there. Well, I guess we're taking this one apart anyway, so let's get the motherboard out and get this whole entire dock ribbon cable out. So here we go. The motherboard for number 8 is loose. Okay, so the dock connector is this one right here. Okay, dock connector is now loose. I hope I didn't ruin the ribbon cable here. That's extremely difficult to get out from under those two machined pieces into the side case. I think everything is okay though. I'm gonna try unplugging the dock connector from here and plugging this dock connector in. Yes, discharge battery. Okay, this is great news. This means, I think it means that we just need a new dock connector in this. I don't know for sure as I'm not an iPhone technician, but so far this looks like it might be good news. I'm gonna try letting it charge up for a little bit and see if we get any picture on the screen. There we go, Apple logo. So just to be sure, I plugged the dock connector for this iPhone back in, and it actually shows the Apple logo now. So I'm not convinced the dock connector is actually faulty. I'm gonna let it charge for a little bit and see what we get. So for iPhone number 2, I was able to get it to connect to iTunes. It's supposedly downloading an update right now, so hopefully that one will work. For now, we're gonna move on to iPhone number 3. And iPhone number 3 has no power, so let's see why not. And so the screen is not even connected. So I think what I'm gonna do is connect a known good screen right now, so then we can tell whether it's a screen problem or not. And here we go, let's see what happens. Okay, we've got battery charging symbol, that's good news. While number 3 is charging, let's check out number 4. The notes from the diagnosis say it turns on, and it seems to work. I need to finish setting it up and test it more to see if there's any other problems. Well, so far so good on this one. This one we just got an Apple logo, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, great news here so far. And also this one's looking good. Okay, so number 3 does have power, but the digitizer on this screen is broken, so I can't check the rest. So we'll need to get another screen on this one to be able to check that. Let's go back to number 4 and see if it'll continue setting up and if there are any locks or anything on it. So iPhone number 4 is set up with my account and everything looks good on it. I will make sure that it's not carrier locked by someone not paying their bill or something like that. But so far iPhone number 4 looks great. I mean, other than the screen, and the back case actually looks amazing, but unfortunately it's broken right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a new back case, new screen on this, and get number 4 looking nice. But before I do that, I'm gonna use this screen on number 3 to see if we can get that one set up and working as well. All right, now I have the working screen from number 4 in number 3. Let's see what happens. All right. Oh, touch still doesn't work. Okay, well, that's a bummer. And this is the screen I was just using on number 4. So first thing I'm gonna do is check out those connectors and see if there's any problems there, and then we'll go from there. All right, I did verify this is the digitizer connector, so that's the part we need to inspect. Now let's take a look under my microscope, see if we can see any problems here. So just looking at this connector, I don't see any problems at all. There's a little bit of like gunk right here and maybe a little bit right there. This part has been bumped right there, that component. But overall, I don't see anything wrong right now. To really test this, we would need to take all this black gunk off here and test to these components. So for number 3 with no touch, I did some looking around on number 3 and I found a video by Jessa Jones. And if any of you don't know who Jessa Jones is, she's an amazing iPhone and iPad repair person. She has a YouTube channel. I highly suggest it if you're trying to fix something on an iPhone and you get stuck, or even if you're just trying to learn a little bit more about iPhone repair. But she has a video about this very same problem and shows how to diagnose it. So I'm gonna get under the microscope and show you what I found. So the way Jessa said to diagnose this problem was to put red probe on ground. This is using diode mode. And if you test this first pin here, it should be at 0.41. And this is the known good board, so it does show 0.41. And the next one I think is about the same. Yeah, 0.41. So now we're gonna go to the board that does not have touch. So now let's look at this board. I'm gonna go to the same locations, red probe on ground, and check the first pin and see what kind of reading we get. See how we have that OL, open line? That means there is no connection between that pin and where it's supposed to connect. Same with the next pin. So the problem with iPhone number 3 is the logic board on this, it has 3 layers. And unfortunately, the readings that we got mean that there's a break between 2 of those 3 layers, or maybe all 3 layers, in the main lines between the chip that gives the touch power and the touch connector itself. So unfortunately, this is one that I'm not gonna tackle. I don't have the tools, the knowledge, or the patience to do something like that. So unfortunately, number 3 is gonna be not fixable. Next, we're gonna take iPhone number 4 and put all of these guts into a new back case, and then we're gonna put a new screen on, and iPhone number 4 should be working great and looking great after that. That was pretty intense. That took a long time. There's a lot of super minor details in this. I still do have to put some adhesive under the battery, but I'm gonna plug in a screen and see if this thing turns on. I really hope it does, because that took so long, and if there's something I did wrong way underneath, it's gonna take a long time to fix. So let's test it and see if it'll turn on. All right, the screen is in, battery's plugged in. Let's see what happens. Okay, good news so far. Let's see if the screen works. Okay, does touch work? Yes, it does. Okay, wow, so far everything looks good. Let's see if it charges. And here we go. Please charge. Yes, great news. So far, this one is looking great, and now we need to get the new screen on, and then we can close it all up, and hopefully we'll have a nice working iPhone 10. Now, from the little bit I know about the iPhone 10, the True Tone display will not work unless you program the serial number from the original screen into the new screen. So we're gonna try that next. I have this programmer. Let's try it out. I've never done anything like this before, so let's see if it works. So we're going to read it. Okay, I think that means we're good to go. Now we're going to try and program the new screen. And we will write. Data verified correct. Okay, so we need to transfer these components over to the new screen, then we can plug it in and see if that worked. So how does it look? Is there anything I forgot? I think it looks pretty good. Okay, the moment of truth. Let's see if it turns on and if the touch works. Boy, that sure looks nice. Good, does touch work? Yes. True tone, we've got true tone. So number 4 is turning out to be a beautiful phone. I do need to put adhesive under the battery and then we can close it up and have a look at the finished product. And how about that? We have a working iPhone 10. It's all set up. That is beautiful. Now that number 4 is done, I've got a couple updates on iPhone number 2. So if you remember, number 2 came in with no power. I thought it was the dock connector, as when I plugged this one in, it seemed to be working better. Unfortunately, I found that it's not actually the dock connector. There is a problem on the motherboard, it seems, as it continues to boot loop. Sometimes it'll actually boot up and I can use the touch screen for a minute and then it'll just turn all the way off. So I think what's probably happening is this motherboard is bent, just like the iPhone we looked at with no touch. So unfortunately, number 2 is also not going to be something we can fix. Let's move on to the next iPhone. I wanted to look at number 10 since it powers on but has no touch. I want to try a new screen and see if it's a screen problem or if it's a motherboard problem. All right, and number 10 is powered up. Is touch going to work? I sure hope so. Let's try. Oh, no. Oh, bummer. So that means that most likely this motherboard is shot, at least for me. Technically it is fixable, but just not something that I am capable of right now with the equipment and tools that I have, or the knowledge and skill for that matter. Wow, okay, so you can see definitely what's likely wrong with this. You can just see how bent that is. It's going to be bent and twisted, so that's the problem with this one, almost for sure, is just that the motherboard is bent and twisted and some of those connections are just totally broken inside. So unfortunately, number 10 is not fixable. Number 9 does power on. We're going to test it with a new screen and see if it works. And here we go. Number 9, is the screen touch going to work? Yes. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, and we got unable to activate. Bummer. This one says an update is required. Usually that means that it's not going to be fixable. I will plug it into iTunes and see if it'll work, but most likely number 9 is not going to work for us. I'll update you guys if I find out something else, but for now, I'm considering this most likely not fixable. So far, we've only been able to fix 1 out of all these 10 iPhones. Unfortunately, that's actually mostly what I expected. I'm kind of surprised we could fix 1, although we do have number 1 right here that I think will be fixable as well. I just need to change the rear case and the screen, and I think that one will also be fixed. We've still got a couple more to go though. Let's see if we can fix any more. While number 5 is charging, let's take a look at number 6. It had no power. I did put another screen on it and I plugged in the battery, so it does have power now. but unfortunately it is also unable to activate. I'll check this one with iTunes and let you guys know if it is fixable, but unfortunately this one most likely is not as well. Number 7 is the last one that we haven't really looked at yet. This is the one with the big hole in the back. Let's get this screen off and see what it looks like. Now this one actually did turn on for just a second and then it wouldn't do anything else. So I'm gonna get the screen off, have a look. Number 5 just powered up, so let's check this out and see what happens. Let's see if touch works. No touch. Now number 5 didn't have any power at all. This is a screen that I know does have touch. So unfortunately, as you already know, no touch is bad news. So back to number 7. I'm gonna get the screen off, take a look inside and see if we can fix it. Okay, and number 7, whatever it was that went through the back shell right there, hit right on the battery, maybe on the motherboard. First thing I'm gonna do is get this battery out of here as it could be damaged and we don't wanna mess around with the damaged lithium ion battery. So I'm gonna get that out, put the battery in from number 8 that wasn't fixable, and then see what happens. All right, look at this. Look at how much of a dent that is there. It actually didn't really damage the battery much. It doesn't look like, at least from the exterior, but this is still not a battery I would use. But that is just such a big dent right there. Let's see if it turns on. Okay, we have power. Okay, and it starts up, but does the touch screen work? No. So unfortunately number 7 is also not fixable, but we still do have number 1. I need to replace the back case and the screen. Let's get that done now and see how it looks when I'm done. So number 6 and number 9, the two I was hooking up to iTunes, unfortunately are not fixable. There's no way to restore them, there's no way to update them, I just can't do anything with them. But the good news with that is I did notice number 6 has a really nice rear case and it actually has almost everything on the inside seems to be good as well. So I'm actually gonna take the motherboard from number 1, put it in number 6, and see if that'll work. I do need to also install a new screen, so I'll do that as well. And then once the screen is on, we'll test it, see if it all works, and if so, we'll call it good. Now I am going from a white iPhone to a black iPhone, but I actually don't really care about that. I'm not planning on selling these. I'm just gonna use them for cameras here in the studio most likely. And I actually like black better anyway, so that works fine. Now this video is quite long, so let's just do this the easy way. And there we go, we got the motherboard in. Now we need to get the new screen on and see if it works. All right, new screen hooked up. Let's see if it turns on and works. All right, and there we go. We've got a pretty decent back case. I do need to clean it up a bit. It's pretty dirty, but other than that, it's a pretty good back case. Got a brand new screen. I do need to obviously attach it fully and put the screws in, but other than that, it looks like this is gonna be a working iPhone. So there we have it, iPhone number 1 is also working. So out of all 10 of those broken iPhone 10s, we have 2 that are working. It's actually better than I thought. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to fix any of them, so I'm glad I at least got 2 working so I can use them for cameras or whatever I need around the studio. If you want to see me try and fix all sorts of other broken stuff, I'll put a playlist up on your screen now so you can come hang out with me over there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave any questions or comments down in the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at TronicsFix, and I hope you have a good day.